They have the hard-hitting analysis.
I'm anti-injury, so maybe this won't work out.
Kyler's only playing one tight end this week, so that's probably going to help him out a lot.
They tell it like it is.
That's not what I needed, Grandma Nut.
All right, the hipster fantasy player.
I don't do anything.
Their listeners love them.
Found all your charts boring, to be frank. Caitlin was the star of the show.
They break down all the statistics.
20 points. That doesn't quite add up. Maybe he had 93.
This is the Snick Snack Sports Podcast.
Here we... All right, Snickers, help me out.
What's going on, all you fantasy football fans out there? Welcome back to another episode of the Snick Snack Sports Fantasy Football Podcast, coming out to you live in the great state of Maine. How are you doing today, Nate?
Another travel episode, this time from you.
Yeah.
How's things going up there in Northport?
Things are going well. We got 3 inches of snow instead of the 1 inch we got back home. So, it's wonderful Christmas time. Isn't that your favorite Christmas song?
It's one of my favorites. Love Paul McCartney. The Boston Globe hates the song though, which is too bad. I mean, it's not his best song, but I'll take it. Better than John's song, of course.
Yeah. Which I heard on the way up here. I heard Dominic the Donkey as I was pulling up last night.
We got another episode for you. It's the round 1 of the fantasy playoffs episode. Some controversy to break down. Some sideshow excitement from my own team. That didn't matter at all. But and we'll have one of our remaining playoff hopefuls in on the show to join us. In addition to you, who are one of our playoff contenders.
Yeah, man. Let's go.
Yeah, so I guess let's do a quick breakdown of last week's performance. No standings to go over, of course. The first thing that I want to show, what you're looking at here, is a performance from Katie's team. I don't fucking think so, which was part of the podcast from 2022, our first year. She scored 196
score
points.
ever.
Highest score ever. We made a big deal of it at the time. Notably in 2023, when the roster size was expanded to have the IDP player and also the punter, John scored 195 points twice, but could never quite gain the distinction of highest score of all time, which we're pretty sure is this score. And she had it against me, as you can see, my 6-8 team that year, which was good for 10th. Katie won that year against Shane. Tua Tagovailoa had a huge game that day. Aaron Jones did well. Tony Pollard did well. DeAndre Hopkins was still kind of in his prime at that point.
That was one of Amari Cooper's 3 good weeks on the Browns.
That's right. I forgot about him. Made some pretty flawless decision making. Other than that, Antonio Gibson was on the bench. But I guess T. Higgins he would have got 5 more points, which doesn't matter for this purpose because I am now the official record holder of highest score of all time. Jamie Carroll on the Laser Show didn't make the playoffs, 203.44. No expanded roster here. Tighter bench, which Nick might argue helped, but yeah, some huge performances from me.
Strong man. Kyle Pitts, 45 points Thursday Night Football. I was talking to Shane at the party last weekend saying we're all going to be pretty happy that you didn't get into the playoffs because you would have upset someone and then scored nothing next week and been pretty upset. But
yeah, instead, even though right now it says that this was against Carson in the Toilet Bowl, based on the side standings that we have, which makes this a similar format to the actual playoffs, I actually had the bye week this week. And so nobody was the victim of this outburst of scoring.
Yeah, man. Which is quite a shame. I mean, Kyle Pitts being your highest score of your season, I'm assuming including any quarterbacks, right? No one scored 46 points for you yet?
No, my quarterbacks have been not that good this year.
Yeah, man. Against Josh Allen, James Cook, Carson, who, traded away his season. But yeah, Congratulations to you, man. 203 points. We're all rooting for you. Everyone in the Discord was saying, come on, Nate, let's go get 200 points. And you got it by the end of Sunday Night Football, right?
Yeah, I did it with only 2 points from my defense.
Yeah.
And I could have actually gotten 9 more points if I had played DJ Moore in my flex instead of Rico Dowdle.
Yeah. No,
You can just imagine because
I was
Travion
doing that
moves
math
up.
as well, trying to see what your highest possible score was. But no, that's awesome, man. But unfortunately, you mentioned Jacoby Brissett is also a baller move. That's insane because he's never been not a top 12 quarterback. But unfortunately, you're not in the playoffs. There are
No,
four
I'm
teams
not.
left in the playoffs here. Let's go look at those teams and see what's going to happen.
Well, so what did happen was, first of all, let's get this out of the way. Cuff the Duck versus Foo Foo Cuddly Poops, Kyle versus Shane, a very controversial matchup. Kyle came up on top, non-controversially. Fortunately, we don't have to deal with what the controversy could have been.
Mm,
This final score was 104 to 99, a pretty pedestrian week for both teams, especially given their both had a lot of recent success. But as you all probably know by now, there was a lot of talk about the Woody Marks not touchdown.
yeah.
There was this play where his team snapped the ball, potentially intentionally, into the ground. He picked it up, ran in for a touchdown. This is officially classified, at least it was by the whoever decides this stuff at the NFL, as a fumble recovery touchdown, which does not count as any points. I know there was some discussion around whether the defense should have gotten those points. That's not how that works, though. Matt clarified that for us. It just is an unscored touchdown in the current league settings. Caused a
Hmm.
lot of debate. Should we just give him the 6 points for this touchdown? And obviously, one of our commissioners, Ducky, was very in favor of just giving him the points. Ultimately, didn't matter. Kyle won without that touchdown, did not receive the touchdown. Um, but a hole potentially to plug for next year.
Yeah, I mean, I think honestly, touchdowns should count as touchdowns based on how everything's written and based on how everything's going. I think both of us ended up on the same side saying, as it is, we can't. It's not a touchdown and it shouldn't be classified as one. The NFL didn't classify it as a Woody Marks touchdown, so why should ESPN do it? But I think maybe moving forward next year, we can look at the rules again and see what we can possibly do about looking at it and definitely at least bring up a discussion about that.
Yeah. Because I did fall on the side of Kyle shouldn't receive the points, even though I had picked him to beat Shane, who was my unofficial rival. Um, I I think the where I landed was pretty simple, which is just that the rules state, which we're all capable of looking at, that's not a touchdown. Now we understand the implications out of it better. We can change that for next year to be a touchdown. I'm fine with that. But it doesn't make sense in my mind to change the rules mid-season because we don't like the rules,
Right.
especially mid-playoff matchup.
Right. And it should have mattered a lot more because Shane was projected to win this by 30 points, and his projection just kept going down and down. Obviously, Devontae Adams going out of the game hurt him a lot. Justin Jefferson against the Dallas Cowboys scoring 2 points is very, very unfortunate. Justin Jefferson is not being drafted next year. Let's call it right now. But
He's not
Shane,
being drafted next year at all.
nope, he's going to go undrafted. But Shane really dropped the ball here. He's projected to win by so much. Kyle got off to a slow start with Woody Marks getting injured also after that and going out of the game. And Josh Jacobs being injured, going in and out of the game a couple times, ending up with a pretty good score. But yeah, no, congratulations to Kyle, definitely. I was
Yeah,
texting back and forth with him a couple times, just trying to figure out what's going on. And yeah, he was definitely able to eke it out and get over 100 points. Brandon Aubrey only 16 points this week, 16.6 points, 6 rushing yards. If you ever saw that play, the fake field goal.
yeah. It was ultimately a close one, and yeah, Shane's team just fell apart through the latter half of that weekend, which was hard to
Mhm.
watch. Um, and then we had the other matchup, which was never really close. Unfortunately, Katie, very strong season from win-loss perspective. Um, has a made a good trade, I think, for getting CeeDee Lamb that helped carry her, but could not overcome the super team that is Ducky's team. It's finally performed for him. He's had, I think even including this week, 3 of the last 5 weeks have been major duds,
Yeah.
but still in my mind, a playoff favorite.
49ers
Um,
defense, which he picked up to play this week, got 0 points against the worst team in the football, and still was able to, yeah, do well. All of his players jumped in the bandwagon of doing well this week, which, like I said, he likes to flop quite a lot, and I'm hoping he's going to flop quite a lot, moving forward. But definitely congrats to Ducky, moving forward this week and beating Katie.
yeah, and so that will bring us to our next matchups, which we'll take a look at when our guest joins us. But before we do, what is the news going around the NFL, Nick?
Yeah, man, there's quite a bit of things going on last week. Obviously, the biggest news, let's say, Patrick Mahomes tearing his ACL. Remember getting switched over to that game. If you're watching the Patriots, watching any other 1 o'clock games, getting switched over to that. Basically, that happening within 5 minutes of the swap. Torn ACL, Micah Parsons, torn ACL for the Packers defense. You got Devontae Adams, very injured. It looks like he also might be playing right now. I haven't checked yet. But Christian Watson out with a chest. Woody Marks went out. Devin Neal out, not going to be playing this week. Some random backups are going to be playing in New Orleans. Jaden Daniels out for the season. Remember Kyle, he's not playing anymore. RJ Harvey out. Bayshaw Tootin, Bam Knight, Ricky Pearsall, all probably out. All have some injuries, all having had relatively disappointing seasons. But big news in Miami. Nate, you heard about this?
No.
The former Texas Longhorn quarterback Quinn Ewers is going to be playing the rest of the games here. Tua Tagovailoa has been benched.
Wow, no, I had not heard that. Um, that's news.
It's news. He's my favorite player in the league. He's great. I don't know why they're benching him.
And kind of along those lines, I know there was a lot of controversy, well, not controversy, a lot of interest about Philip Rivers, Grandpa Phil, playing last week. I think he may have exceeded expectations, although he didn't play especially well. Didn't look like he really
140
needed.
yards and a touchdown and an interception to lose the game. Yeah.
And I watched that game, and it did not look like he remembered how to throw the football. I think I could probably throw it harder than he can. But I did love that it caused some jealous reactions from Brady, who seems to have been saying that he totally could have done that, but he can't because he owns the Raiders now. So of course he's not allowed. But
Right.
if he didn't, he totally would have done it instead.
Yeah, man. No, I wish I actually watched that game. Philip Rivers has always been kind of a duck thrower, and he's shot put form, but he's a Hall of Famer, and he has to wait 5 more years now to get in the Hall of Fame. He can't get back in until 2031. So that's another delay to play a couple games with the Colts. He's going to be playing Monday night. We'll keep watching him play. Everyone's gonna be playing him Island game, but yeah, it's very fun news just to watch and have him almost upset Seattle, who's the second best Super Bowl odds in the out of any team. So
Yeah. Now let's have Kenny join us to talk about this week's games. All right, Kenny, welcome to the show. How you doing?
I've been doing wonderful. It's been a while since I've been on the show. Feels good to be back.
yeah, week 6, 9 weeks ago, you're on the show. I was checking
Was
before
it
it
that long
because
ago?
we
Wow.
we had some little back and forth. Me and you were playing each other that week,
Oh, I remember that. Yep. Because
and
we
you
were
ended
even
up
calling it then. It could have been a preview of the championship, and here we are. We're getting closer. It
here we
could still
are.
happen.
Good chance for both of us to go to the championship here. It'll be very exciting because we don't play each other very often at all.
No, because certainly, especially with the implementation of the rivalry weeks, I play Nick Adams more than anyone.
Yeah.
But no, it would be a fun championship. Gotta get through. I gotta get through Kyle first, and you obviously got to get through Ducky first. But
Mm.
oh,
Yeah, I
maybe
mean,
we'll still be meeting you next week. We'll see.
Yeah, that'd be a lot
if
of fun.
if this is to be a rematch of week 6, just so you know, Kenny, you did lose 96 to 114.
Yeah, it's a detail. Don't worry about that.
Not one of your better weeks, but it was a week that Puka scored 4 points. I didn't know that Puka had a single bad week this year, but apparently he had one.
That was probably his injury week, was it? Or
Yeah, because I think he was injured
against the
for
Eagles?
yeah, wasn't he? And then wasn't he out for a week?
Yeah.
He was out for a week, you're right.
And I think that
But
was when he got hurt.
that was the only time he scored less than 10 points this year until last week when he scored 3.5.
It's all right. He's ready to get back at it.
Yeah, man. How did your team do last week when you're on your bye? You don't need to score
Wonderful.
any points, and you just
And
decide
it
to
was
go drop 140.
best week, like one of the best weeks I've had. I'm like, all right, guys, let's. I get it. That's good. I'm glad you have the enthusiasm, but you better show up next week too.
Yeah, man. I'm the opposite. I'm trying to get my players into gear now after dropping a couple not important games to get everyone ready, especially Mecha Ibuka, man. He needs to score some points. He needs to get some touchdowns and get me into the championship against you here.
Yeah, pulling up the matchup for this week between you and Kyle, Kenny, we see some very similar projections. We
Mhm.
also see that Puka has already reached last week's point total through roughly one quarter of football. So
Yep, we're getting there. He's geared up and ready to go. He's yeah. Sometimes you need a break. It's all right.
Hmm. Yeah, no,
yeah,
super
still the number
big
two.
game.
Was that Nick?
Super big game right now going on. The Seahawks and Rams, number one and number two expectations to go to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, this is a big week. I mean, whoever wins it, I mean, is not making the Super Bowl. Eagles going to the Super Bowl. Sorry, but
As the four seed, what
yeah,
not
we're,
before probably have to be
defense.
three.
Defense is getting its act together. Offense figuring it out again. We're getting there. We're
They're figuring
fine.
out against the Raiders. Yeah,
Yeah.
congratulations. Something the Patriots can't say. So
Hey, you got to figure it out somehow. There's nothing better than, it's really great and makes me never want to listen to ESPN to hear the same the same broadcast, couple weeks apart, or the same analysis show go, well, we know the Cowboys played the Raiders, and I know the Raiders are not the best team, but they're still an NFL team. And then like 4 weeks later, well, can we really get much out of the Eagles beating the Raiders? Are they even really an NFL team? Like the exact same people saying that. Like you can't even take ESPN seriously, but no, you got to figure it out somehow. And if you figure it out against the Raiders, it works.
yeah, man.
Eagles are gonna be great. We're winning the Super Bowl again. New dynasty coming.
New dynasty. Okay, the Patriots aren't the new dynasty.
No, you guys, you don't deserve happiness. You don't deserve
Uh,
it yet.
gonna instead be mid-career Jalen Hurts, who's the new dynasty.
Absolutely. Don't worry about it. We
Uh,
got we got Howie Roseman figuring it out. He's a genius.
Now, looking at the fantasy matchup, I mean, we know these rosters, we've talked about them all year. Um, Break it down for me, Kenny.
I mean, I just have better receivers. I think my running backs are better. Other than Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs is the one I'll give him. But I think my team is just built better. I put a lot in at the end of the year. I really threw all my chips in the middle of the pot. I sent it this year. We're doing it.
Mm. And it's really a big battle of the defenses and kickers here. Both going to score a lot of points. Both really good matchups.
Hmm.
Have a lot of points there, but
Eagles are just going to pick off Mariota like 4 times. It's going to be fine. My
maybe no.
Eagles defense is going to score double-digit points. I'm calling it right now.
Okay, let's do it. He's going to outscore Puka here, or what's going on?
The Eagles defense might. We're just gonna beat the shit out of the Commanders. It's not even gonna be pretty.
Facing him two times in 3 weeks. So yeah, Eagles
Yeah,
are going to go 11-5, get the
yeah.
three seed or two
Yep.
seed.
That's all we need.
Yeah, man, don't let me in. Yeah, but yeah,
Yeah,
looking at Kyle's team,
I
he's
think one
been
of the pieces that Kyle's team, has been propping up big time recently is this Michael Wilson just streak. Actually, don't know how he did last week, but we'll take it out here. Um, yeah, I mean, he got 14 points, which is more an
was
average good week, but
pretty good against the Texans. Yeah.
pretty good against the Texans, playing Atlanta this time. Not good news for you, Kenny. Um, who will fail to allow your victory on Kyle's team?
Well, the key to Michael Wilson here is Marvin Harrison Jr. playing. Dropped down on Kyle's team here. Because if he's not playing, Wilson's gonna have a good week. If he is playing and he has a projection, maybe
He has
Michael
a
Wilson forgets how to play
projection.
football.
Yeah, good point. And looking at the news here, it's talking about how he's looking to suit up. Not seeing a lot of oh yeah, practice in limited fashion on Thursday. Um,
Michael Wilson and Jalen Brooks are the only healthy options at wide receiver for Arizona. Wow.
yeah, on the whole roster. Um, so yeah, I guess they really this I'm reading this as kind of a 50-50 kind of situation. And if he does come back, that's very good news for you, actually, even though he has Marvin Harrison Kenny, because that'll just split that work and they'll
Yep,
probably
that
both not be
workload's gonna
good.
get split up. It's coming. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling good. Jamar Chase just even in garbage time just puts up 1,000,000 points. Like we're gonna be fine.
Bad news for that particular matchup. The Dolphins starting a rookie quarterback. The Bengals might be up a lot, running the ball a lot. So it's gonna be a lot of back and forth here. I think it's gonna be pretty close. I think you're both gonna probably score pretty high.
Yeah, I think this is a tough one, but I just think I have better players and Puka suddenly shooting up to 9 points.
Hmm.
I not seeing a touchdown on the thing, but was that a huge
Oh,
reception?
50-yard reception. Yeah.
Just a 50.
Um,
Yeah,
it
just a
looks
50
like if
something yard
we're
reception. He was at 20 on 3 receptions. So that's just a 54-yard receptions. Easy. My
There
life
you
is
go.
so easy, dude.
yeah,
Never worried. No stress.
now which bench player that you are not playing this week has the potential to give you the most regret?
Trevor Lawrence.
Trevor Lawrence, 46
It's a
point Trevor Lawrence.
46-point Trevor Lawrence. He has potential to pop off. Now, I don't think as good against Denver. Um, I've actually, I mean, it's not obviously not locked in until Sunday anyway. I'm still back and forth on it. Trevor Lawrence may sneak in over Baker Mayfield. I think I'm riding with Baker, but kind of waiting and seeing how things shake out and make a final decision. At curtains on Sunday, but make it at the buzzer. But that's the one I'm most worried about.
Hmm.
Is between my quarterbacks. I'm worried I'm going to pick wrong, and the one I don't pick is going to be sitting on my bench with 40 points. But it's the risk you got to take.
I think you got to go Baker here. I know Trevor got 40 points last week. Has he ever gotten more than 20 points other than that this year? Um,
Yes,
a couple
41 2 weeks
times.
ago.
he's done it a couple times. I mean, he's been averaging around 20 points the last, like high teens in points the last couple weeks, excluding the 40-point outlier.
Hmm.
And Baker hasn't had as good of weeks, much as Snickers knows, with Mecca Buka not doing so much, but.
Yeah, man. Rooting for you to throw a lot of touchdowns to me over here.
They can come this week, just not next week.
Yeah, man.
But
Yeah,
that's
let's take a
that's
look.
the one. That's the one where if I was going to see a regret, it's going to be in the quarterback slot. Whoever sits on the bench is going to be the regret spot. Although, of course, because I've now finally benched Genty, is the week he's going to pop off and just run for 300 yards, and I'm going to go, "Yep, that's what happens."
Yeah, it's tough. DK's been, I think, pretty decent of late.
He's been good
Um,
the last couple of weeks, and Ashton Genty's just hasn't scored more than 7 points the last 3 weeks.
yeah, he's on the Raiders, so you don't want a running back on a bad team generally, even if they're a number one pick.
Nope.
I think you've made the right call to save yourself from regret because if Trevor Lawrence goes off, even with last week, I think you're saying like this guy is just, not a star quarterback right now. Whereas if you did the
Yeah.
reverse, it's like, why did I change what I've been doing all year?
Yeah.
So let's take a look at the duck versus the duck here, Snickers
Hmm.
versus Ducky. And this
5-1
one
so far.
is
Got a lot of players
uh,
in this game, man.
yeah, Ducky has a lot of players in this game. Um, Bad news for him is that so far two of them have 0 points, which has actually reduced his projection to a mere 125 compared to
As you
your 117.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I know they're gonna get some points here, but if Jason can get shut down like he did against the Vikings a couple weeks ago, I'm rooting for a 76-point Ducky week by a long shot. I'd love to win by 100. I don't want to eke it out and win by 1 point on Monday Night Football. But yeah, this is gonna be pretty exciting. A lot of my guys haven't been showing up recently, except for Titty, and ready to get them back into play, get some good matchups in here. Got some fun play, got some playing loose, got some George Pickens trying again, and then we're gonna score 130 points here.
Yeah, your team is filled with people who I see as having a mediocre season apart from Jahmyr Gibbs, and I guess George Pickens has been pretty awesome.
And Trey McBride is
But
the
I was
number
gonna
one tight
say
end by a
and
mile.
Trey McBride,
Trey
yeah,
McBride would be the wide receiver like 8, 7
Yeah,
if he was a wide receiver. It's absurd.
he's going for an all-time tight end, a couple of all-time tight end records right now.
Mhm.
but obviously Nick's side has a lot of superstar players in
Mhm.
comparison. Um, and but yeah, the certainly we've seen that team crash before. Um, Now, who for you, Nick, has the greatest potential on your bench to cause some regret?
Yeah, I mean, T. Higgins, he's questionable playing Miami. I think that's gonna be a really good game. I think he's probably gonna end up possibly in my lineup here, depending on if he's playing, he's probably gonna be in. I'll just put it like that. And Keenan and Rondé both going up against the Dallas defense, both incredible plays. I think that could be a lot of fun. I'd love to play both of them again because both of them helped me, shoot up past everyone to get to the one seed here. But yeah, picked up your guy Chuba, Nate, and Jaden Reed, both probably not gonna get much play time, but they're locker room guys. They're gonna help me bounce through, and they have a chance to put up 30 points each on the bench. So
Yeah, decided can't change it now. Decided not to play the Rams. Um, which you may have just mentioned, but the I mean, I was caught my eye that it has 8 points, then I remembered that that's
that's how
probably going to get
defenses
lower.
work. Yeah.
So yeah, not a lot from your team, obviously, until Sunday. You do have a Saturday team. That's, I guess, because college is over.
Yep, we got, or not over, but yeah, we got two Saturday games going this week. Everyone remember set your lineups. I know me and Kenny and Ducky and Kyle will remember to do that, but for all
Oh,
the other people
always,
out
I
there,
always remember, never forget.
hmm,
It's just my
And
defense. Okay.
we've made our picks, Kenny, but who wins this game, do you think? Does Snickers pull it out, or is Super Team Ducky moving on?
I I think Snickers is gonna pull it out, but I also really just don't want to play against Ducky in the championship. I think it would be interesting if it was Ducky and I, because him and I messaged quite a bit as him and I just started trading away major draft picks for superstar players. He was like, I didn't realize I was creating an arms race. I said, yeah, but you did start it.
yeah,
He
He
started it
absolutely
and I
started it.
continued it. So I think it would be quite the colossal battle for him and I, but I think Snickers, I think you're going to pull this one out this week. But I think we're going to but I think it's going to be a nail biter, and I think it's all going to come down to CMC on Monday. I think we're going to be watching that one, and it's going to be within like 5-10 points.
yeah, man.
Hmm.
It's probably gonna end up being super close.
You're going to
Some
be sweating to the end.
it sucks, man. Like I said, I want to win by 100 on Saturday. It would be great. But some interesting just finals news for you. I've been to the finals twice and won both times. Ducky's been to the finals twice and lost both times. So historically, you want to play Ducky in the finals.
That's true, but also if I'm playing Ducky in the finals, one of us is going to get our first championship win because
Yeah.
I've only made it once and I lost, and that was last year.
Yeah.
Which is the other fun storyline with me and Kyle is it's our rematch from last year's championship.
Oh yeah. No, definitely. And yeah, 2 years ago it was the same thing. Ducky and Kyle were in the chip together and um were had the first time winner for the first time in a long time. Yeah, Nate was
Yeah,
the last first time winner, right? Or 4 years before that.
I
Or did
I
Matt win
suppose
once?
if we count Katie's win, I think her win technically came before the season the league started, but most
That's
of us
true.
were there when that happened.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I think I've also been in two championships, won one of them. But yeah, excited to see this play out. And one thing that we kind of didn't talk about a lot last week was that you're the only team left in the playoffs, Nick, who did not kind of sell next year for this year to do a heavy buyer.
Hmm.
Last week, the Kyle versus Shane matchup were two of the people who, two of the four huge buyers this year, Kenny, you being the one of the others, and Ducky. And so Shane is already out of the playoffs and is now looking at having some real handicapping in next year's
Mhm.
draft.
And another thing I was talking to Ducky about, I mean, the handicap does hurt, but you can play through it. I made the championship last year. I didn't pick in the second and third round last year.
Yeah.
I had traded those picks away, and I still made the champion. Now, I had Puka Nakua in there as like a 16th round keeper. Like, obviously that helps, but like you
Mhm.
can get around the handicap. It is doable.
Yeah. Last year, Kyle didn't have a third round pick either, and he made the finals. So,
Got off to a pretty, yeah, you're right. And I think in your parts, that decision made a lot of sense back then, Kenny, because you knew you were getting a player for the following year to make up for that pick. But
Yeah.
still, it certainly can be done. I don't think it's going to be
Yeah.
done by all four of these teams that
No,
bought
of
so
course
hard.
not. At
Someone's going to
least
have an awful year.
statistically, two or three of us are gonna just absolutely shit the bed next year, and it's gonna be bad. And you just get to live with that. But then
mhm.
you get to be the one selling, or selling away the big good pieces that you happen to get, and
Yeah.
get some good capital in return, and try to make the run the next year.
Yeah. I mean, if you get the championship, then you're happy. If you don't get the championship, then you move on, like you're saying. But it's rough.
Now, just a quick look at this is supposed to be the offers reports. Let's pull that up.
Yeah.
Still
Big
some bidding going on.
me versus Ducky
Um,
thing on a Tuesday here.
yeah. Yeah, for Darren Waller. I am still in the league history from when Katie
Yeah.
had her thing. But as we pull back into 2025, we will see that Darren Waller was the prize of this week's pick. And Ducky ended up getting in front of you, right?
He did. Yeah. I got him here. He
I don't know
put
how to get back there.
Okay, I'll read them off if there weren't too many. I bet $10 on Darren Waller. He put 13.
There we
He
go.
put $8 on the Saints. I put 7. It was a big week. He texted me on Tuesday morning just laughing at me with a devil emoji because I took the defense he wanted from him last week. So,
That's called revenge right there.
and I said, "How many players have you bought back this year?" After he dropped Darren Waller a couple weeks ago, and he said, "I've put so much money on players that I already dropped this year." He's pretty upset about it. He's all in his head.
Well, hey,
Yeah,
one thing
no,
he can have and hold on to, sitting in his flex spot right now, is Mike Evans, who I dropped several weeks ago, and he picked up the next day because I didn't want to keep him in IR because I thought he was done for the season. Everything made it sound like he's done for the season, so I let him go, and here he comes back. And I guarantee you, if he pulls off the I still get 1,000 yard season anyway, and does like two like 300 yard weeks in a row, I'm
Yeah.
gonna be a little upset, but it would be really funny. I will laugh in the pain. I will laugh.
Mm-hmm. No, Mike
yeah, the
Evans, great
veteran
player.
president himself.
Hmm.
And yeah, actually, I had forgotten about that narrative that Mike Evans was a drop pickup. So yeah, that's definitely a fun one to be paying attention to. Um, but yeah, no, this is going to be a fun couple of weeks. No buys this week. So Kenny, you and I both experienced, I don't know if I'd call it pain, but the kind of just wistful watching the team explode against nobody.
Yep. I was watching it and I'm like, I'd have beaten everyone in these playoffs this week. I'd have knocked off anyone. I'd have rather Katie had pulled ahead of me and I knocked Ducky out of the playoffs. Like if Katie had snapped into second place, but you know what? It's fine. We were just staying loose. We're ready for another week.
Yeah, man. Get your team ready to go, play, and then we can face off again. But yeah, no, my team needs to focus, get ready. Everyone has a possibility to get 20, 30, 50 points for Jameer Gibbs. And let's go. Let's beat Ducky, and everyone wants to beat Ducky, right? So let's go.
He's a
Of
commissioner. Of
course,
course we do.
he's the commissioner. He's also the team to beat because he bought the most heavily, and he was trying to push the commissioner change the score thing, which, regardless of the arguments, is a bad look when the commissioner is enforcing rules top down. So, all makes him the enemy of the playoffs. Yeah, thanks for joining us this week, Kenny. Always fun to talk to you.
Always happy to
We
be
will-
here.
We'll see you all next week. There we go.
They have the hard hitting and
Wrong sound. Let's try it again.
Nice job. Here we go. Blooper reel. Get ready, guys.
We were all ready for it.